Hi, welcome back to another live episode with EvenSkyn, and today we're gonna have an amazing guest. She is a certified health coach, and she has been creating content and educating us on nutrition. She has been educating us on skincare as well as other holistic approaches that we can do in order to have glowier skin and have a healthier approach to life. And the thing is that whenever we're discussing about skincare and we're discussing about things that we can do to have a more youthful appearance, let's say, it's not just about the skincare products that we're using and the things we do topically on our skin, but there are always recommendations on the things that we can do internally. And this is why we wanted to have a conversation with Brittney. And I'm gonna wait for Brittney to join us here today and send an invite to her. And I want with Brittney on the things that she has tested, because she has been trying different supplements. She is so insightful in terms of well-being and skincare as well, which is also the topic of today's discussion. Brittney, let me know if you'll be able to join. I'm sending you the invite. And we have been collecting a few questions that we usually get from our audiences, and also the combination of using our products, which mainly are the anti-aging devices, especially our flagship device, which is the EvenSkyn Lumo. Focusing on radio frequency, EMS for muscle toning, and a combination of so many modalities that we can do for our skin, including red light therapy, blue light therapy, and we have a bunch of, okay, I see a comment here, she's unable to join, and this happens so many times. So Brittney, if you're here, I'm sending you the invite, and let me know if you have any difficulty joining us here. So we have been discussing for so many months with different experts. We have been talking with board certified dermatology. So we have a combination of so many lives, which this one is going to be included as well in the resources of EvenSkyn. And to be honest, we're trying to repost everything that we're recording on those lives, because we just received so many comments on the recent post when we were announcing that we're going to have this live with Brittney, that so many people are unable to join at the moment. And this is mainly due to time differences, and also Brittney's joining from, I think she's on holiday at the moment, so I think it's going to be super special to have her. Brittney, let me know if you're having any difficulties. I'm still getting the notification that you're unable to join. So let me know if something is going on your end. Okay. Trying to reach out directly. I see you here. Sending the invite. All right, I got you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Okay,
you hear
perfect.
me well?
I haven't been on a live in a long time, so I forgot how to do it.
It's okay. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I'm not really sure. Are you still on vacation, or was one of your recent posts that you were somewhere?
No, I wish I was still on vacation.
All right, good to know we were not interrupting something.
Number one tip, take a vacation.
I think we all need it, especially right now during the holidays. And it's like, especially in working in marketing and all of that, we're like bombarded with so many campaigns and all that. So I really am looking forward to some time off and just like cool down.
Can totally relate to that. Honestly, like we've never taken a Thanksgiving vacation, but it's kind of like the perfect timing between Christmas and like after the summer and everything like that. It's like it's worth it.
Yeah, totally. So I made a quick introduction about the things that we're doing here and we're going to discuss. But for anyone who doesn't know, please make an introduction of who you are and I think it's going to be super useful for our audience that probably is not aware of what you do. And I think, and I can also make a quick introduction about myself as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm Brittney Bouchard. I'm a certified holistic health and wellness coach. Also a content creator and influencer here on Instagram. I became a health coach about 5 years ago after healing myself from a bunch of other health issues. And I decided, like, I have to help other people do the same.
Wow. And for anyone, this is Qendresa. I am influencer marketing director at EvenSkyn. Super passionate about skincare. So you get to hear me talking about skincare and especially anti-aging, where this is the area I tend to focus the most and do the research. And I have been hosting live events on Instagram because I want to collect information from experts. And especially since we're talking about skincare, for so many people, it tends to be an insecurity, or it has to be something that people are just like so passionate and concerned about specific skin conditions. So I'm trying to collect as much information, and we're talking about with people from different backgrounds, because it's not just about the products we're putting on our skin. It has to do internally. And I have been experiencing this myself. I do intermittent fasting and I try to eat as healthy as possible. And that actually changed how my skin looks, how I experience my period cramps. That, like, it has an effect in so many ways. So I try to take care of myself. I try to have 8 hours of sleep. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I try to do so many things in order to improve my life. And actually I have seen the results shown on my skin as well. So this is why I wanted to invite Brittney here, and thank you so much for having and taking the time to speak with us, because I know so many people need the information on the things that we can do, and I'm here to learn myself.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so glad you're already following a lot of things, and I'm so glad, like, that's the number one thing I say to people all the time is skincare starts from the inside out. Our skin is our largest organ, so it's going to be affected by everything we put in our bodies.
Yeah.
And stress, exercise, sleep, all those things. It's a little overwhelming. It's funny, I was going through the questions and I was like, how will I answer all of this in 30 minutes? Because it's not so simple, because in society we're so used to this normalized eating and habits that are not really the most beneficial for our overall health. But our skin, like, I will say that my skin now looks better than when I was 5 years ago. Like, yeah. I feel like I look younger now than before I went down my health and wellness journey.
Wow. And this is a comment I hear for so many other people that are in this path, that they're taking care of themselves. And no matter how many procedures we try to probably do on our skin, if we really want to change things in a long-term way, I would say, because sometimes you're going to have that glowing effect if you do a chemical peel or something, but it's not going to stay if you're going to eat junk food, or if you're exposed to stress and so many other things that are affecting you negatively.
Yeah, so, like, I used to, buy this product and that product and get this facial and that facial, and my skin was just dull, breaking out, dry, like horrible. And I'm like, well, I'm doing all these things, but you don't really think about internal.
Yeah. So can you share with us, like, you said you were healing yourself. So, yeah. And I also read backgrounds on your website. So for anyone who doesn't know, I think you can consult with Brittney through the website. Is this the space where they can reach out to you through the website, or you also do this from Instagram?
Instagram, you can DM me, I'll always respond. My email's on my website, so I'm very easy to get a hold of.
Amazing. So for anyone who needs, we have Brittney as a coach here, but can you tell us more about the background and how did you get into the health? You said you were healing yourself, and then you kind of, and I think whenever we start researching, or when we start a journey, we were just like exposed to then so many other things when we try to integrate in our life. You see that supplements are a very important factor, sleep and this and that. There are so many things that we can do. So please tell us more.
Yeah, so there's so many things, and that's why coaching is super important, because I can't give you guys all the information today, and also we're all so different, right? So in my personal healing journey, I'll make this as quick as I can. I was first diagnosed with something called Hashimoto's, and is an autoimmune disease with the thyroid. And since then, I've put that in complete remission, even though all the doctors told me it wasn't possible. The doctors told me I'd take a medication for the rest of my life and that I'd have these symptoms for the rest of my life. Now I'm in complete remission. So it truly is possible to heal yourself on a lot of levels. And then, so I'll skip back a bit. So before I had quote unquote healed, so I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and then a year later, I started experiencing, speaking of skin, all these crazy symptoms, and it manifested in what looked like hives all over my arms, all over my face, all over my body. They were so itchy that I was literally like tearing off my skin. I had to put bandages around my arms and legs because I was scratching my skin off, and it was disgusting. It was bleeding. It was horrible. No dermatologist could figure this out. No allergist, no specialist. I went to so many people. I was also waking up every morning feeling like hungover, right? So that's like, now I know that's a sign that my body was trying to detoxify something. And speaking to skin being your largest organ, it was trying to detoxify it through my skin. And so I had all these doctors tell me, oh, take this immunosuppressant, take this medication, do this. But I'm a very intuitive person, and like, I'm not against medication if it's necessary, but I believe 9 times out of 10, it's unnecessary and we can heal ourselves naturally. And so a friend of mine said something to me about something called breast implant illness. And I had never heard of it before. I had had my breast implants for 13 years. I had never considered that they had been making me sick. Yeah. And I was so tired, I couldn't get out of bed. I had chronic fatigue. I was always sick. Everything I ate made me feel nauseous. Like I had to stop working. It was really, really, really bad. And when she mentioned this, I joined this support group on Facebook of all the women who also were experiencing these crazy weird symptoms, and no one could really pinpoint them. And I just knew, like, this is it. Like, this is it. And so I made an appointment, and long story short, had them removed, while at the same time really started working on my gut health. And the one thing I will say about gut health that is super important that everyone really needs to know, there is no supplement you're gonna buy. There is no, kombucha you're gonna drink. There's no sauerkraut you're gonna eat that's gonna heal your gut. If you think about it, like, in order to heal your leg, you need to take an x-ray. In order to find out what nutrients you're deficient in, you have to do a blood panel. Well, it's just like that with gut health. You have to test your gut, and that's something that I do in my practice. I think gut health is the #1 most important thing in our overall health. And so I learned during that time about healing my gut, and that was a big part of my healing journey besides having the explant surgery. Because with having breast implant illness is similar to like an autoimmune disease. And I also had Hashimoto's. So I knew anything autoimmune is gut health, right? Yeah. So I knew I needed to work on that. And so through that journey, maybe 6 months later, I had changed my point. The thing that's important too is, like, people think, oh, I'm super disciplined. I was never a disciplined person. I could never cut out sugar. I could never cut out soda. I could never do all these things until I really understood what it was doing to my body. So it was a year of transformation where I just cut out all the foods, started really truly healing my body, learning about sleep, learning about reducing stress, exercising in the right way, meditation, breath work, all the things. It took a year to really just focus on healing. And that's when I decided, like, okay, I have to help other people, because a lot of this is not out there. A lot of doctors will say, just take this pill and you're going to be better. And so a lot of that, going back to anti-aging, has manifested in my skin looking amazing. Wow. So there's so many connections here, and I have 1,000 questions right now. I have 1,000 questions right now. Okay. Based on the story that you're sharing, and I know that it's never going to be enough time for us to on this call, but this is super important. And I think you mentioned to do a gut health
test in order to see where do you stand, how is your body responding to different foods and bacteria and anything, because we need some bacteria in our system. And to be honest, it is true that there's not that much information when it comes to gut health and the relation also to our skin. And I think I came across this information when I was listening to a podcast with Tim Spencer, if you know, and I was like, okay, there's gut health. And I was reading one of his books then later on, and I was learning so much about different tests and glucose spike. And I was like, okay, it was much easier for me to kind of be more rigid and I would say more disciplined, because I had more information and I was making informed decision, because I knew if I'm gonna eat a sweet breakfast in the morning, then I'm gonna have a glucose spike and then I'm just gonna crave for more. If I could control what I'm eating in the morning, the whole thing was just like, I didn't have that brain fog. This is why I started intermittent fasting. And it was through the content. I think it was the first thing that I heard was from Tim Spencer talking about gut health. And then I started learning about so many other things. And then it just like kind of, I could see the effect in so many other ways, which is skin also the other aspect. And I was like, okay, it has to do with food. It has to do with the way I'm approaching to the stressors and everything. So, it's all, I feel like I'm relating to your story as well, even though like I didn't have a specific condition to go through that pathway which you went through. And I think it's super important that you kind of went with your intuition, and you were diagnosed, but you also kind of asked about what are your needs, and then you took that approach. It's not just about, because what I'm trying to connect here is we get bombarded with also a lot of information, and sometimes can be very negative because there's so much marketing included in everything that we see. So it is so hard for so many people to say, okay, probably I need this, probably I need that. And when we're talking about skin, sometimes it tends to be an insecurity for so many people. And then you're like, probably I need this. And then you start purchasing so many different products, and you're like, probably you're not even staying consistent with one active ingredient or one product like a skincare device that is actually going to bring you results. So I think it's super important to also get and consult with dermatologists and coaches like you, and then have a more narrow, holistic, and personalized approach to what you need. So thank you so much for sharing this. I think it's super important.
Yeah, I want to just mention one thing too. Hold on, my dog sees someone out the window. He's gonna, Winnie, I'm on an Instagram live.
Come and join us.
He's protecting us because Amazon's here. You mentioned dermatologists, and that's the one thing I have to say is to be wary of, because not that they're bad, but I've seen too many, unless it's like a holistic dermatologist. In my current situation, the experience I have is they just want to prescribe all these topical things. Like I was dealing with a client with psoriasis, and they just wanted to keep giving this person steroids. And when psoriasis is an autoimmune disease, it starts in the gut, right? So I think you have to, number one, question everything, right? Like really do your own research and be your own advocate. It's not that dermatologists are quote unquote bad, but they were taught just to treat one part of the body, not from a whole body, holistic perspective. And, you know, with my experience with dermatologists, you know, when I was going through all the hives and everything, like my dermatologist said, yeah, okay, good luck with removing your implants and hoping that's going to do anything. You know, they were very like, I'm like, how could something inside my body not being affecting my whole body, right? So that's the one thing, just speaking, not that all dermatologists are quote unquote bad. No. There is a reason for them. But my point is there are only, a lot of doctors are taught prescribe this medication, right?
Yeah. And I think this calls for us to all do our own research. And whenever you get the information, and probably it's a prescribed medication, you need to research and also see if it has to do with topicals. Like you were getting all those hives, you knew that it didn't have to do with skin exactly. Like there was something, it was something that was causing the hives to happen. So you knew that you were also experiencing other symptoms. So I think that is super important for people to know that you need to understand where it's coming from and where do you stand in order to kind of also do a bit of self-diagnose, even though like you're talking to certified and dermatologists and probably coaches that will be able to help you kind of understand where you are.
Yeah, you want to look at the root cause, you know.
Exactly.
And just to relate all this to anti-aging, you know, if you have inflammation in your body, if you have dysbiosis in your gut, that's going to increase your aging. You're going to age faster. Like you even know about glucose spikes, right? The more glucose spikes you have, the faster you actually age.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to quote anti-age and you're mostly focused on skin creams, it's not going to get you very far. Now, of course, there are some great products I use for my skin. The Lumo for sure. I use it every week and it just makes my skin look tighter, but you have to have both. You can't just have one side and not the other. I mean, you could, you're just going to get maybe a minimal difference versus like, you know, and I always say to people, start small, because I know this is probably really overwhelming if you're living the standard American lifestyle and diet. You're not in US. Where are you?
I'm in Europe. Yeah. You're
in Europe. See, you guys have better food and better ingredients anyway. So you're gonna live longer, regardless. But yeah, I mean, it's really just starting with like the biggest thing I could say for anybody watching, like the biggest takeaway is eating whole foods and just get rid of the inflammatory foods, get rid of the sugar, get rid of the seed oils, get rid of the processed foods. Like that, number one, like alcohol, get rid of that. Like, I'm sorry, I know everyone loves their wine, but like
you can have a glass of wine here and there.
But you know, all the things that are inflammatory are just from an anti-aging and a full health perspective are going to, you know, determine how long you live and how good you feel while you're doing it.
Yeah. So in terms of food, what would you recommend that are some natural ingredients that are going to help also with our gut health that is kind of going to show, because I know so many people here are interested to see, okay, what is going to help with my skin to look a bit more glowy and healthier? What have you seen that actually works for you?
Yeah, so hydration, obviously, minerals. Hydration and minerals are key for sure. I do a collagen from Thorne that has nicotinamide riboside and a polyphenol blend. So I love that, but those are supplements. But as far as food goes, yeah, whole food approach. So again, like I want to see berries. I want to see vegetables. I want to see meats. A lot of people, there's a controversy of eating meat. Meat's very healthy. We want to see healthy fats. We want to, and whole foods, real food from the earth. Before you eat something, think like if you're eating something in a package and it's, you know, a candy bar, is there a candy bar tree, right? I was explaining this to someone the other day. I said, if I could give you one simple nutritional advice, I would say, imagine yourself scouring the earth as a caveman thousands of years ago. What would you eat? You would see some animals and you'd probably have to eat them, and you'd see some plants and you'd eat those, and you'd see some nuts and seeds and you'd eat that. No. That is right? That is the simplest way. Like, I personally follow a paleo diet. I find that works for everyone I've worked with personally. It's just the most natural way our bodies should be eating.
Yeah, and you're reminding me of a saying that is like, if your grandmother didn't eat it, don't eat it. So sometimes I'm like skeptical for something. It's like, okay, does this work? And then I just think, did that food go through a very long process? Because any step, like if we're talking about smoothies, we have this thing that we think that smoothies probably are very healthy, but what I've been researching is that when you start to blend all of this food, you're losing all the fibers, and then you're just going to end up with so much fructose, which in our system it's only going to go to fat. So there's going to be more energy, there's going to be more fat. So when we're talking about smoothies and we see all of this content,
that's why in mine I have prebiotic fibers to feed my gut. I only put half a banana, but I make sure I counterbalance that half a banana with healthy fat. So I also have MCT oil in here, cashew butter. So we're getting a nice balance of things. So this isn't going to spike my blood sugar. And the protein I swear by is a bone broth protein.
Yeah.
Cleanest protein you can get. And it's also really good for the gut.
Yeah. And it's super important to know and understand what fiber is and what sugar is and how to include fats, because we had this thing where we thought that fat probably is just going to cause more fat, but actually no, if we're eating healthy fats, that is super important for us to have a whole system where we're including fiber and then fat and protein. And we also, it's okay to have sugar here and there, but I think from what I have seen so far based on the research is that it's best when we eat it after we have finished the meal, so then this way we're not gonna have like glucose spikes so much. So fibers first, then we go with protein, and then we can have carbs and sugar, which there's so much space that we can learn more about that. But I want to get a bit into your skincare routine, because I was reading some questions that we got from earlier, and I have written them down here. And I want to know more about the things that you're doing and you have tested that actually are resulting in this beautiful glowy face that you have right now.
Thank you. Would you guys believe that I'm 40?
No.
So what am I doing in my skincare routine? Again, I'm doing less now because I'm eating good and I'm sleeping and I'm doing all the things. So it's amazing because you do less, right? Let's see. I love the what is the hyaluronic acid and peptide serum you guys have that goes with the Lumo, the conductor gel?
The
Love
complexion
that.
gel. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think like that's amazing because I mean peptides and hyaluronic acid and vitamin C are like my three favorites. I love rose oil. I'm using what else am I using? I found this, like, I put all my stuff here because I forgot. I found this like really natural exfoliator because when I realized that I was over exfoliating, and it's I can link it afterwards, but it's literally like my esthetician, they make it. It's like oatmeal and like rice. It's like all natural, and it like works better than any exfoliator I've ever used.
I want to know.
Huh?
I want to know more about that.
Yeah,
So if you can share that, yeah.
I'll add a link to this somehow, or I'll put it in the notes maybe.
Yeah, we can add a comment, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I've used so many different brands because I thankfully get to test a lot of brands because people send me stuff to try. I'm using this one peptide serum from Bare Skincare. It's a brand new brand that's launching soon, and it's amazing. I love True Botanicals. Their stuff is amazing. Like so good. And again, like just things with really clean, non-toxic ingredients. That's so important, especially when it comes to makeup. A lot of people are putting on all this skincare and then putting like chemical toxic makeup, and that stuff ages your skin. Yeah. Like some of these foundations out there, like number one, like look into clean skincare, and I can put some of the brands in the notes too if you'd like.
Sure.
I switched all of my makeup to clean brands, and that's been a huge difference too.
Wow, please do share all of your recommendations, but I think it's going to be super important. I know many people said in the comment that they're unable to join while we're having this live, so we're going to make sure that we repost this, and I'm going to add you as a collaborator, so then this way whoever missed the recommendation, we can also list them down. And I think it's nice to know, because it's also the makeup that probably can cause breakouts, and it's going to cause dehydration, and so especially if you're using too much makeup. And if you use too much makeup, then you need to do a double cleanse, and you need to take extra care of your skin in order to kind of just balance with the makeup and the things that you're putting on your skin.
Yeah, and speaking of breakouts, if you're having regular breakouts, even if they're hormonal, that is gut dysbiosis. Please check your gut. If you want to do it through me, I work with Thorne Labs, and I can do the test for anybody in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., find a holistic functional medicine doctor that will look at your gut and help you to balance that, because acne is not normal. It's gut imbalance a lot of times.
100%, and that has been something that I have experienced. I used to have so much breakout, and I thought I was having too much acne, and I was having closed comedones, and actually it was through healthy food that I managed to kind of clear up my skin. I have breakouts here and there, and especially if I'm stressed and if I'm like during the Christmas season and like we're constantly just like working so much, I just see like things happening here and there, or probably sometimes I just like put my hands, I touch my face a lot, and then I see things happen. It's like, okay, I need to remind myself to cool down, eat some healthy food, just kind of relax and just don't take things too harsh, because then it's going to show on your skin. So but I like that you mentioned that you're sticking to a few ingredients, and usually when we're talking about hyaluronic acid, mostly you cannot go wrong with hyaluronic acid. So staying and doing the research and just like staying in the safe lane before integrating something like retinol, which can be a very irritating ingredient, shows amazing results. You have amazing benefits from a retinol or vitamin C, but you kind of need to go low and slow and just kind of have a gradual process until you integrate those ingredients in your skincare routine. I think that is very important.
Totally. I think it's similar to supplementation. Like you can put too many things on your skin, you can take too many supplements. You got to make sure you're putting the right things on your skin, just like supplements. You got to make sure you're taking the right ones.
Yeah. And I'd be curious to know what other tests we could do in order to check our health. That is super important. We mentioned gut health test, but is there any other test that you would recommend for people just to kind of have an overview and a better understanding? Where do they stand in their healthy process?
Yeah, definitely. I would do like again, like with supplements, like a micronutrient panel.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have better luck with finding a functional medicine doctor who will do these tests for you. Unfortunately, traditional doctors just don't. I don't know how it is in Europe, but
Mm-hmm.
here in America, they just run the things that the insurance will pay for, and that's it. So I think that if you can invest in a functional or a holistic doctor, is super important. But a micronutrient panel is a great place to start, because it's going to tell you where you're deficient, and you can choose to get those from food if possible, or you can choose to get those nutrients from a supplement. A gut test is super important, but especially important if you have any autoimmune diagnosis, if you have any digestive issues, if you're not having regular bowel movements. Like that's a number one sign that, hey, something is really, really wrong here. People think it's like just normal. It's not good. It's a sign that things are deteriorating in your body. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
What other tests? I'm trying to think. I think gut tests and micronutrient tests are number one. But if you have other underlying things going on, you might need to look further. Like I ended up finding out through a heavy metal test that I had mercury poisoning. Mm-hmm. So I think that it depends on the person and what you're dealing with and what symptoms you have. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this. I was writing this down, so then I know for myself if I'm going through a test that I need to know where do I start with. And can you tell us more about the experience that you had with the EvenSkyn Lumo? It has been a few months, I guess, probably a year that you have been testing the Lumo. And I remember in the beginning, we're like, okay, let's have another call just to see.
I was confused. I was like, how does this thing work?
Yes, so many people are in that position. This is why I would like to discuss this and see how was it for you to integrate a radio frequency device in your skincare routine, because it tends to be a confusing situation for some people, and especially when we're talking about the Lumo, and because it has 5 different modalities and it has 5 different intensity levels, it's like for people, okay, do I start with one? How many minutes do I use? How is it too much? Is it too little? Is it going to have an effect? It probably doesn't show effect. So tell us more, how was your journey with the Lumo?
Yeah, so once I figured out how to use it, it's not complicated for everyone out there. I had never used anything like that before. And it's funny because since then I've tried a couple other ones, and then I'm like, I like the Lumo the best. Yeah. And I use it for a skin tightening. So I think I use, the EMS?
Yeah.
One? And like, it's crazy. Like I'll use it like once a week, or if I like forget to use it the second week, I can tell. I'm like, oh, I should probably, it looks like I need some tightening going on. But it's pretty interesting how like you almost like for me, like I can tell like immediately after I'm done using it, and for like at least a week afterwards, like my skin feels tighter.
Yeah. And especially because the EMS, as you mentioned, and that tends to be the most favorite mode of the Lumo for most of the people, is because it combines the radio frequency and EMS. So with radio frequency, what you're getting is we're producing more collagen. So that is going to keep kind of the collagen production process, so the healing part, which is very important. This is why you're probably going to see and feel the tightness even after a week. With the EMS, which is the muscle toning mode, you're going to feel that instant toning, or it would be the same feeling as going to the gym because it has microcurrent. And when you're like done with the weightlifting and everything, you're like, okay, I feel something in my body, because you feel that heat and you feel everything. And that is what comes from the EMS, because we're contracting the muscles all the time, and you're gonna feel that twitching effect. For some people, sometimes it tends to be a bit uncomfortable, but you get used to it. Start with the lowest level, you get used to it.
I'm like, it's working, it's working.
Yeah. And we recommend starting with the lowest level, definitely, with all the modes that you're using on the Lumo, except for the cooling mode, which is, it doesn't include any radio frequency.
I only use that if I'm like a little bit pink, like if I'm red.
Yeah.
Like if I have a sunburn or something, I use the cooling mode, and it's nice.
It's perfect. Yeah, that is the mode that we recommend if you have, and for so many people that are during their menopause, it's perfect for hot flashes. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna use
this.
There's a tip. There's a tip for anyone who needs, if you have a hot flash, the cooling mode in the Lumo, it's amazing because it cools down, and then it also helps shrinking the pores. But it's mostly important if you're using the radio frequency mode, which is going to cause more heat and collagen production. Probably you're going to see some redness and you're going to feel the heat. So the cooling mode kind of just neutralizes the excess heat that we have on our skin. And yeah, you're going to see some pores kind of just like disappearing for a bit. And how much do you use the Lumo? Because we usually recommend starting with once per week, 25 minutes, I would say, because sometimes people just like spread out the sessions during the week, but we recommend a 25-minute threshold of radio frequency during the week. How did you integrate this? Was it too much for you, or how was the scheduling and the Lumo sessions going?
Honestly, it just literally depends on like my time. Like sometimes it's like I do it at night, so it's like if I'm like really tired, I've had a long day, I won't do it. Like, but I think I would average about once a week to once every 2 weeks if things are completely crazy. Mm-hmm. But I guess my question is, can I use it more than once a week?
You can, if you're limiting the radio frequency in 25 minutes per week. So if you do
over here, I don't know what's happening.
Like, if you do 25 minutes, wow, you're glowing.
Well, no, we're gonna back up. This daylight savings time is like really messing with my lighting. Sorry. That's better.
Yeah. So yeah, you can use more if you're staying in the limit of 25 minutes per week. But for anyone who's new with radio frequency, you can. We recommend starting with once per week and start with the lowest level, at least the first 2 weeks of using the Lumo. After the third and fourth, probably. And if you're used to radio frequency devices, you can definitely play around and add a bit more because you can tolerate it. But in the beginning, let's say a 30-year-old, or we don't recommend using the device earlier than for 30. But if you're 30 and you have never used anything, I think it's super important to kind of take it slow until you see how it works for you, if it's too much. And if you're over 80, which there are a group of people that use the Lumo, they see amazing results.
Wow.
But they're like, can I use this more? Because I think I need more. And yes, a 3-time using the Lumo per week, it's still doable because they have more severe signs of aging. And the results are amazing. We see more results with 60, 70, 80 years old more than a 40 or 30 or 50 years old, because they have more signs of aging, and it's amazing to see like how their faces is like super improved. And I love, this is my favorite part.
Great. I'm excited.
Yeah, there are so many before and after photos for anyone who's interested. They can see on the website, evenskyn.com, and you can search for the Lumo. And down at the section, there are so many before and after photos from people. And I think this is what excites me the most, because we had those traditional ideas that we need to go and get Botox, or we need to go through injections and put so many other things in our skin in order to kind of keep that youthful appearance. But actually things have changed with so much innovation and technology, and radio frequency has been researched for such a long time, and it has been showing an amazing results in clinics. What is happening right now is just like those devices just became smaller and safer for at-home use. And you need to be cautious when you're using radio frequency device, because you can do too much. This is why we're discussing here about 25 minutes per week if the device is super powerful. There are some other devices which are recommended for every day, or it depends. We tend to stay in a kind of value more if we have a stronger device that actually can sit in 1 or 2 times per week, because this is easier for you to integrate in your schedule. But yeah, I wanted to connect that those people that have so many signs of aging, sometimes they're like, okay, probably I just need to go through plastic surgery to take my skin. And I'm so happy to learn more about technologies and the new things that are happening in the market, because there are so many things that we can do at home that actually are going to improve the signs of aging. And and there are things that we can do with our health. And then after you have been out in the sun, which we recommend using SPF all the time, you're going to see hyperpigmentation. And we cannot cure hyperpigmentation, for example, through food, but there are other things that we need to do topically, especially using SPF and red light therapy, for example, in order to do that. So please, for anyone, like, do your research. If you have a skin condition or a specific thing that you need to test and try to see if it fits for your skincare need and concern, you need to do the research to see if it's actually proven to be effective for most of the people. And then try it out, and if it doesn't feel right for you, if you have irritation, you need to stop, because so many people are in like, okay, probably just gonna pass and then I can get used to this. If your skin is reacting, you need to stop using that ingredient and see if you can find another alternative.
Yeah, and I think I just want to throw this out there too. One thing that I was experiencing a lot of, I did a skin allergy test back when I was trying to figure out everything, and that was really, really helpful to me. If you're having some type of reaction or something, you don't know what it is, so definitely check to have a skin allergy test done. But it's interesting, like one of the things I was allergic to was fragrance, and fragrance isn't everything, and it's made of chemicals. All your, perfumes you're wearing, they're all endocrine disruptors. So like I say, stay far, far away from fragrance, especially in skincare, because it can wreak havoc on the skin. Yeah,
and it only adds a feeling to the products. It doesn't do anything good.
I don't care what this smells like. Like, why? Like,
for so many people, it's super important. I talk to people and they're like, it needs to smell good for me to use it. I have a thing, it needs to look good for me to use it. I love that thing. That is a thing that I have.
Speaking of like aging, like if you want to age yourself, put fragrance on your skin.
Yeah.
Like that's going to contribute to aging. So it's like you're buying this skin cream because you think it's going to be anti-aging, but if it has fragrance or chemicals or any of that other stuff, it's going to actually do the opposite.
Yeah, and I saw an app, and I think it was recommended by Tim Spencer. I forgot the name of the app, but you can scan the barcodes of the products you're using and the food that you're eating to see if it has any toxins. And so much of our skincare products and makeup, they have so much chemicals and so much fragrance and so much toxins that actually it's just going to show a lot.
It's crazy. Like, why? I don't know. Do you guys, it's better in Europe though, right? They use less chemicals, right?
Yeah,
Here it's so bad. They can put anything in the products here.
I know. And I think here, and especially with SPF, we have more innovative ingredients and factors that actually are good for SPF. And in the US, there are a few that are FDA approved, and then nothing new is coming out at the moment. And it needs to, there are so many research that we do in both ends, also Europe, but also US, but we have more natural and alternatives in terms of ingredients and skincare. But I think it's changing. I think it's also changing in the US. And I think with all this information, I see more people also tending and buying more Korean products, which I'm a fan of. And when you were talking about makeup, I have found amazing makeup, clean makeup in the K industry, and I have been always purchasing the K makeup and skincare because it's super good.
I love that. I gotta check them out. I gotta tell you, the one thing that I never really tried a lot of Korean skincare, but the one thing I have tried that I think came out of Korea was the snail mucin.
Yes, probably from Cosrx.
It's amazing.
It is amazing, super hydrating.
I was so surprised. I had tried something that gave me a reaction on my skin, and I was like, let me just try this. I see it on TikTok, and literally night and day difference within 24 hours. I had like eczema from this product, and I tried skincare, and I tried something that I had a reaction to. Horrible reaction.
Wow.
The snail mucin just like made it better. It was crazy.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
I love hearing when people are just like, this product actually worked on my skin.
I was so surprised. I didn't expect that much out of it.
Yes, I used it. Right now I'm testing something else, and for me it was super hydrating. I loved it. I love the feeling of it. And I think they came out with even more products that are in different percentage. There are creams, because I only had the essence, I think, and then I saw that they were launching even more products. So if you need to include a moisturizer with snail, you can do that. And Cosrx, I think, is an amazing brand. But I found so many great products, and especially with makeup, because I had this thing where I was breaking out, as I shared, and with makeup, it was making my skin way worse. And our brushes, oh my god, they hold so much bacteria. You need to wash your brush all the time in order to, I think it would be better to do this with your hands rather than using any products. Just make sure that everything is clean. So I'm okay. The time is flying. I'm going through comments. So if anyone has any comments right now, I think we can take some time to answer any questions. We have Brittney, certified health coach, and you can ask her anything that you need to know about gut and nutrition and food and all of the things that she has tested that actually have been proven to work for her. And you see if it fits for you. And if you need to talk anything about radio frequency and skincare, I'll do my best to answer. And I see a comment here: what is microneedling radio frequency? I guess that's a question.
Oh.
So radio frequency and microneedling, both of those are different treatments that we do, and there are devices that combine both radio frequency and microneedling. And the most popular one is the Morpheus 8, I believe. Yeah. What happens is there are a few small needles. It depends on your skin thickness. They're going to use different needles. What happens, the needles go in your skin in like small sizes or areas, and then they cause, so they're opening our skin for radio frequency to penetrate. For some people, that tends to be a bit too much painful, but with new radio frequency, and especially what the Lumo has, is we're able to put those energy waves, radio frequency waves, going deeper into our skin, bypassing the epidermis, and then it just go at the epidermis and go straight to the dermis where the collagen production happens. So what we're doing with microneedling is we're doing this topically in order for the radio frequency to penetrate and go to the dermis. So many people see amazing results because you're gonna have that. What we're causing damage to our skin, and that is going to be a signal for our healing process. Okay, we need to produce more collagen in order to heal. So during that healing process, what we're seeing is our skin is glowing. But for anyone who doesn't feel comfortable doing that, we would recommend starting with radio frequency only, as there are ways that you can see the same results without the microneedling.
Oh, can I say something about that? Because
yeah.
I have radio frequency microneedling together is really, really expensive. So I haven't been able to try that yet, but I do regular microneedling and then I just use the Lumo when I get home.
That is a trick.
Does that count? Because it feels
I think it does.
I feel like last time I did microneedling, if you've had it done, it takes a few days and you look kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I was actually supposed to do one today, but I was like, I probably should wait since I'm doing this meeting. But it like my skin, the last time I used the Lumo right when I got home, and within 2 days it had healed.
Yes, it definitely helps.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And I see that the follow-up question is it the same as the Lumo? No, the Lumo only offers radio frequency combined with other modes such as EMS, which is for muscle toning. There's modes for cleansing, which is no matter how much double cleanse we do, there's going to get so much out of our skin. There's product penetration. There is the cooling mode. But all of those are radio frequency based. So what we're doing with radio frequency is we're tightening the skin. With EMS, we're toning our muscles. So we're targeting two different aspects of our skin, which combined is usually the treatment that one would get in a clinic treatment. Can you use the Lumo on the forehead? Where can you use it? Yes, you can use the Lumo full face, neck, and décolletage. You would only need to avoid the thyroid area and the eye socket. And we have other devices that are designed for the eye area, but radio frequency has not been tested in the thyroid, so we recommend skipping this part. Okay, nice. I buy, but I'm still waiting. I'm from Holland. We ship the Lumo worldwide, global, anywhere. So if you need a device in Holland, we sure can get you one there. If you needed that in US, and right now we have a Christmas campaign going on, so you're gonna get it with the same discount as it was on Black Friday. So this is something special that we're doing this year, is we're offering the highest discount codes. So I think right now it would be a nice time for you to try out. And also we offer a 60-day money back guarantee, which you have the time to test it out and see if it works. If it doesn't, you can also, like, there's no question asked, you can return the product. I also had a question, Brittney. What are like the main misconceptions when it comes to health and when it comes to aging? What have you seen? Because you're working with many people and many people are coming to you with their concerns. What are some misconceptions that you think that it's important to kind of address?
The list is so long of misconceptions. You know, it's interesting just because of marketing. There's so many different misconceptions about health in general. And so it can become really challenging. It's like, you know, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that meat's bad for you and eating fake processed meat is healthier. Like, in what world? I'm not saying you have to eat meat, but I'm saying if it is important for your health. And also if you don't want to, just don't eat the processed stuff, you know? I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. Another one that I hear a lot is everything in moderation. That just gets me going because most people don't understand what moderation is. People think that moderation is, I have one drink every day. Like, that's not moderation, right? So I think or I just have, you know, sugar. I only have dessert once a week. Well, it's like, if you start with anything that's like addictive substance, like sugar, like your body's going to crave it more. Like, I just went on vacation, and when I'm on vacation, I kind of allow myself to have things I don't typically have. And when you come back from allowing yourself to have that, you come back and you're going to have those cravings. So that's the thing with like moderation. It's a tricky thing. The other thing is, like, if anyone's trying to sell you any product that's for your gut health, but they haven't gone over a stool analysis, it's all marketing, right? Could it help a little bit? Maybe. It's a shot in the dark, you know, because we don't know what good and bad bacteria we need to replenish in your gut until we see from a stool test. So it's another misconception. Oh man. What else? I think that covers the main ones.
Yes, they do. And well, thank you so much for sharing this. And especially if for anyone who's joining, we have been talking about the things that we can do for our health that are also going to affect our skin, the things that we can do topically, and the things that you can do through food, which is an amazing, because we're talking about skincare, and we see so much content about different products with different results, and you're sometimes in the midst of, I have been using this, but it doesn't give me the same results. And you need to do tests. And as Brittney was sharing, especially a gut health test, I think that is very important for us to see where do we stand and the things that we can do. And I think it's kind of going with the more logic approach. If you're sleeping well, if you have too many stressors, your environment, the food that you're taking, and it is true, the more sugar you eat, the more you're going to want. So anything, if you want to cut it, it's just like you need to make.
I would say, this is my sayings, the body craves more of what you give it. So the more vegetables you give it, you're going to start to crave more vegetables. You know, the more sugar you give it, your body, you're going to start to crave more sugar. The more you exercise, your body's going to start to crave that exercise, right? So I'm not saying never have sugar or never have this or never have that, but a lot of what I work on with people in my practice is mindset and habits, because I could probably break down the things to eat and what not to eat in like, you know, a session or two. But I think it takes a lot of time to transform all your habits to where that becomes the norm.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone who needs to talk to Brittney directly, you can reach her on her website, email, Instagram, anywhere. And I think she would be an amazing person to kind of give you the insightful information personalized to your needs, and like go through this process until you kind of heal yourself as well. And when you are in the midst of research and doing so many things, I think it's very important to kind of work with the people that actually have the knowledge and are specifically focused on the things that you need. And if you need to talk to a dermatologist, or if you need to talk to a skin expert or a health coach, go and find the right people for you, that it's easy for you to communicate. And I would highly recommend Brittney, because we've had an amazing chat here, but I do believe, based on the content and the things that I have seen you share, I really like the approach that you have to life, and the positive, I'm going to say the positive approach to all the things that you're sharing. You kind of don't put people into that pressure and where things don't feel very realistic. So this is something that I love so much about you. And I want to say thank you so much for having us, being here with us today. I know it was like almost an hour that we're here, and I can talk for hours when we're talking.
I know,
about
I feel like we could do easily another hour or two, but
but I'm gonna make sure to repost this on our Instagram, and please do share the list and the recommendation of the things that you have been testing out. I think that is very important for people to know. And I'm also interested in that exfoliation that you learned about.
Yeah. It's a local person like in my area that makes it's a like totally homemade thing, but I think you can order it online. I'll send you all the links.
Yes, yeah, thank you so much. And for anyone, if you have more questions, feel free to drop them in the comments after we post the live, and we'll be able to answer after we repost it.
All right, thank you so much. This has been so fun.
It has been a pleasure to have you here, and it's super fun to talk and learn from you. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thank you, Brittney, for being here with us.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.